with Katie Bowman.
All right, and we're back with another episode of Help Me, I'm Scared. I'm Katie Bowman, your host. In the studio today, as always, we have the fabulous JD Lopez, my producer.
Hello.
Doop-a-doo. And this is a Left Hand Right Brain production. And I'm so excited to have our guest on for this week's episode because she and I have been trying so hard to have our schedules connect, and we've both been just crushing it and following our dreams, and so it's been hard. But I finally got her on. We got Krista Michaels in the house.
Yay.
Yeah. No.
We usually have applause sounds, but again, my computer's not plugged in.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. Also, so
Maybe I'll put it in post. There you go. It was there the whole time. It was there,
yeah,
Katie.
No, it's fine. It was one of those things where I started looking at you and I was like, oh, I should have asked him before I just started if like I should not do. And so I did. I didn't set it up too bad, right? Like it was fine. It is okay.
It was great.
You know what? Every podcast I listen to you messes up the intro. So that's literally the cool thing to do. So Krista, it's so good to have you on. Absolutely. Yes. So you are a director, photographer, producer, and what any other things I'm missing on your title? I took some notes too. I always try. Yes. Amazing. And Krista just directed and co-wrote a new short film called Manted. And it just came out this year. And then also another film that was out, which I looked up on your website, one Monday in 2020. That's awesome. That's the only one I didn't see. But that's not a horror film, right? Is that correct? Oh, it is. Oh, it's awesome. Oh, amazing. Oh my God. Amazing. Brandy Bryant. Yes. Amazing. Brandy Bryant also, that's how I met Krista. Brandy Bryant is a fantastic comedic writer, and I hope she gets back to the stage soon. We need to have more safety out there for sure for the stage. She was telling me that she's not wanting to perform as much right now because the world's fucking crazy, and I totally respect that. And I just I know I kind of like low-key begged her to like come out for a show once, and she's just like, I can't right now. And I was like, that is so fair. That is so fair. And she does amazing tattoos as well. And I have a couple of them. I want to save up and get like a horror tattoo from her.
You're all covered up now. You could have showed them off.
She's gonna. I know. I am.
For the visual people, if you're on YouTube.
Yeah. I know. I'm like, all my good ones are not. Like, I have one on my leg. But you know what? Go to Brandy's website and you'll see like on the amazing work she does. Like, it's like tattoos that like look like they're like off-screen clips from like stills from the like footage or something like that. She's so talented. But you both are just like this power couple. It's amazing. And I love that you guys make films together. Is that is that like ever like stressful, or do you guys feel like it's your wheelhouse, you're having fun? It's like, I love that. That's awesome. And so where can people watch One Monday or Manted right now? Oh, so they're both on Trauma. Okay. Maybe I should have kept it. I deleted it after because I already have Shudder, and I was like, I don't want to like forget about the free trial. But if you go on Trauma, you get a free month of it for free, so you can watch all of their stuff and then you can delete it. Or you have a great streaming service, and it's primarily online, is it? Or is it like, is there an icon on TV, like, you know, when you... Oh, awesome. Okay, I wonder if that would be more...
It says Apple TV, Android right here, Roku, Fire TV.
Oh, it's on Roku now.
Apple.
Oh, yeah, they are apps. I'm so... Oh, amazing. I wonder, do you have Shudder? Okay. Do you think one is better than the other, or just
Obviously, the one with hers on it.
well, yeah. Of course. Yeah. Totally. Okay. So then it's probably good to have both. I just have so many streaming services now that I'm like trying so hard to like it's hard to choose. Yeah, I know Shutter is great and it's so cheap too. It's like why not? Okay. So I did write down like where to find it, but I was like I don't know why. I'm like where can they find it? But the movie was great. Manted was awesome. This one I don't want to spoil because I'm sure a lot of our listeners. I mean, that'd be awesome if every listener has seen it. But you guys gotta watch it, and it's really fun, and it's got some local faves in it. Anthony Crawford, Sam Sisson, Brandy Bryant does some puppetry in it. That's really cool. And then I didn't know who Lloyd Kaufman is. That Kaufman? Yes, Lloyd Kaufman. Amazing. That's awesome. Oh, that's so fun. Okay, cool. I'll have to check him out too. That's amazing. I love this. There's so much I don't know. And that's the cool thing about horror is that it's just endless. Okay. And so yeah, it's an awesome movie. I really love the special effects that did you guys tag team that or was it mostly because I remember seeing her work on a piece and I was like, oh, that looks sick. That's so cool. I thought it was really cool. It was really well done. And I loved the little sounds in it. And the opening song was cool. Is that really? Oh my God. That's so cool. I'll have to look them up. What was it called? Tall? Awesome. Okay. Wow. So many things. Um, oh, I have my pen. I was like, I should also put, but it'll be on the podcast. So I can also band tall. Okay. Yeah. I loved that. And I was wondering when I saw it, I was like, is this a song that was like on free music or was it like a band that they know? It's always fun kind of seeing that kind of a thing. And, I just felt like Sam and Anthony did a really great job too. And yeah, it was a fun cast. I love both of them very much. Well, cool. You guys go watch Manted and One Monday. I'll have to watch One Monday and report back to you all as well. But I don't want to spoil it now. So go watch it on Trauma. It's amazing. And let's get into the film that Krista chose. We are excited for it. It's The Lost Boys from 1987. Doo doo doo. And I had never seen this movie actually, and I'm surprised I haven't because I've seen so many. But you know what? It's
I've seen it all.
well, I feel you're like I've just seen it, but I haven't. I mean, I feel like people keep picking films, and I'm like, wow, I haven't seen this one, and that's so exciting about horror too. You know, is that yeah, that feeling. It's almost like you're chasing that feeling every time. I really enjoyed this film, and then it was directed by Joe Schumacher, right? And then so he did Batman versus Robin. Is that yes? Okay, and Batman, yes. And then it was, and so I was listening to some trivia on the way over, or like trivia questions. I always like to look up like the fun facts about the film, and it was supposed to be like a completely different film, right? And yes, and the producer. Do you know who the producer was of this movie as well? Yes, and so he wanted it to be more family friendly. Yeah, totally. And like they were gonna be like more fun, like not fun, but like the characters were gonna be like, we love, no, we don't hate, you know, we don't eat. Yeah. Yeah, that same kind of vibe. But this was like I feel like this still has that fun vibe though, just like a smidge, but like more a little more PG-13 edge of R, you know. Yeah. Yeah. And I feel like it adds, and there was a little one in there. And you're like, oh my God, is that a vampire baby? What's happening? And it's him. It's funny how, so it is supposed to be a dark comedy too, right? Um, and like the jokes are so dry or they're very subtle. Um, and it made me laugh really hard. And then there would just be a lot of physical comedy that was really funny too. Um, and also, so for the listeners, JD's seen this film.
Yeah. Big applause there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was a big Corey's fan when I was younger.
Corey Feldman.
I like the Coreys.
Oh,
Yeah, Corey
yes.
Haim, Corey Feldman.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yes, Corey Haim. Is it Haim or Haim?
It was Haim, right?
Haim. Yeah, this is a pretty great cast. um Yeah, it's both of them. Yeah. Yeah, and I felt like there were little like jumpy moments. Especially if I was like a kid watching that, like I think I'd be scared.
Oh yeah, I was scared as a kid.
You were scared?
Oh yeah.
What part scared you the most?
I mean, I can't think of specifics. It's been a while. It's been a while.
So another thing that I read was that, low budget. So they were like, how do we show these vampires flying without them like actually flying? And then so they basically just did these aerial shots with like a sound. And that to me as a kid, that like it got me in my kid soul. I was like, oh my God, that would scare me as a kid. Yeah. 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 And so you're like, is it like a weather monster or something? But it's vampires. I thought that was a really creative choice and it was really fun. Yeah. Yeah, totally.
It made 32 million, so good
That's
return.
Good. That's almost 3 times. Wait. How many times is that?
Then 8.
Wait. 8 times.
It's like 4 times.
4 times, yeah.
Yeah, that would be cool. They could still do it. Oh yeah, I think I have seen, yeah.
Some of those. Yeah, I heard that they didn't let Paul Shoemaker. Is it Shoemaker? Or Schumacher. Joel.
Yeah, the tribe. Yeah, it was
The Thirst.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, there you go.
Totally. Yeah. Well, and so, for anyone who hasn't seen this movie, it's about this new family that moves to a new town, and it's basically Santa Barbara, but they couldn't get that naming for it because the city didn't want to be associated with it. I didn't know you could do. Oh, it was Santa Cruz. Sorry. Yes. And so that's why, but it is the same city where they filmed on the boardwalk or whatever. Oh yeah. Which was that? And that wait is Santa? Where was it again?
Santa Cruz.
Santa Cruz. Sorry, there's so many.
Yeah.
Santa Cruz is California.
Yes.
Yeah. So was it the Night Stalker then? That was her. I've heard that, but I don't know. California does have like a lot of serial killers.
46. Yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah, that makes perfect sense. That's crazy. Now the world's just like, we're gonna whoop.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
No,
So
that's
there might
okay.
be a little static. Just kind of.
That's okay. Totally. Totally. Absolutely. And so yeah, so these guys moved to this town. This family, it's like a single mom and two kids, and just strange things start happening. And then you find out that like there's a huge population of like vampires. A lot of them are like young boys. There's a lot of young boys. And then they try to figure out. So in this film, I love how like zombies have like all these different types of zombies, and now there's like all these different types of vampires, right? Like, and this one, they're like, there's a head vampire, and if you kill the head vampire, all the other vampires just go back to normal people. So that's like the game of the whole film, and they're like trying to murder the main one and try to figure out who it is. And also like one of these two brothers, the two kids that the mom has, are like really cute and funny. The older brother's kind of like the dopey one, right? Wouldn't you say he's like like I feel like the younger brother is like the funny one in like a more like cynical way, and like he's also like kind of getting his brother out of everything. So it's like this like weird different type of power dynamic
Corey
between the two of
Haim
them.
is the younger brother.
Yes. Yeah, they're so young in it. And yeah, Corey Feldman is like the little brother's friend. And then there's I forget who the Frog Brothers, yeah, and like it's so fun. So we can go through the plot a little bit.
Right before we get into that, let's switch mics because I
Okay.
feel like yours is getting a little static, and I don't know why.
Okay, sorry, we are back with after we had a little tech error go on. JD's been like we've been having a little
You got some gremlins in the works or
yeah,
something here today.
Yeah, we got little gremlins in the workings here. So yeah, so we were talking about the plot, right? Or
Yeah, we're
talking
just about to get in the plot.
The plot, or
The actors are.
the plot. Yes. Okay. I loved Corey Feldman during this time too, and I was just like, oh my god, little Corey Feldman, and yeah, and like Kiefer Sutherland literally looks like what influenced the style of men in the 90s. You know what I mean? Like it's like he trendsetted that. Yeah.
Oh, interesting. That's very
That's,
popular today.
I know people love the mullet again. It's back. I mean, a lot of really interesting mullets, middle parts. They're all very like punk rock wizard looking vampires. Yeah, it's really fun costumes. And then like the Frog Brothers, like both are kind of more preppy looking, which is cute. And then the mom's really great too. I just love Diane Weist's like personality on screen is really nice. She just plays such a good mom. Yeah. Yeah, she's amazing. Okay, and then Edward Herman, who plays Max, was very funny. And I loved. Okay, so yeah, let's get into the plot a little bit. So they go to the town, and I just love how there's like the opening song where they're getting into town and they're noticing all these little vampires everywhere. Um, yeah. And they're just kind of like not really noticing anything. And then so sorry, I'm trying to keep the mic good. Okay. And then you kind of get like the setup of everything pretty quickly, right? So they go to let's see. So yeah, totally. And then You hear like it's the murder capital of the world, which is interesting. And then yeah, and you're like, what? Why? And then you see like all the young vampires walking around with their little leader David, who is Kiefer Sutherland, and there's all these amazing shots around a boardwalk where everybody kind of finds their game of the film the whole time. So like Lucy the mom meets Max, who's this like t-shirt store owner, right? Like it's like some kind of boardwalk shop, and they're having a fun little chat. And then Sam finds a comic book shop where and then like the two Frog brothers are like, that's where he meets them, and they're trying to warn him about vampires subtly. And then Michael goes to like a concert on the boardwalk, like there's like a band playing, and yeah, I know. He's like, yes, it's perfect. And he is like singing, and then it's a really fun song, and Michael sees his love interest for the film called Star. And she's a really cutie. She's super cutie. And then you see later on when everyone's walking around, like she's with David the vampire. And then that scene was so funny when he's like, okay, so he's like, go on a date with me, whatever. And she's like, I can't. And then, or no, she's like about to, right? And then David is like, Star, come here. And then like takes him back. Yeah, and she gets back on the bike, and then they're basically telling Michael to go like follow them. And he's like, I can't keep up with you guys. And they're like, it's not about keeping up. What does he say? It's like, he's not about keeping up. Oh wait, yeah. Yeah. And so it's interesting because he's also trying to befriend him the whole time. And so that is like an interesting part of it. Um, yes, exactly. Totally. And they get back, and Michael's just trying to hold space for himself. And they're all just being wild little vampires jumping around and stuff. And David ends up offering Michael this wine, and Michael doesn't realize that it's like actually David's blood. And he drinks it, and then he starts having all these crazy side effects. And yes. Oh, yeah. I didn't realize that it was like such a setup like that too. Like it is like him being like, just kidding, just kidding. And it's like, okay, clearly you're seeing shit. Yeah, that's a really great thing to catch. Also, I read that the maggots, like apparently maggots don't move when they're just sitting in like a cup or something. So the guy had to pour like lemon juice on them to get them moving. And then I was like, does lemon juice hurt maggots? Like what? But also maggots are gross. So I'm like, yeah, those poor maggots. Um and yeah, so then he finally drinks it, and he starts having these side effects but still doesn't really get it. And then he finally ends up getting it after all these things happen to him, where like he tries to have some milk and it makes him really sick. He he gets like thirsty and almost kills his brother, but then the dog attacks him, and I was so worried about the dog because I was like, oh my god, this dog. And then the dog me too. And then the dog kicks his ass though, and he's like, no, he's trying to bite me because I'm bad. He like totally takes the blame. And then Sam's really funny. He's like, oh my god, you're a vampire now? I'm telling Mom, this is terrible. It's like so funny. Yeah. Yeah, like he's just like being like, she's gonna be so mad at you, just not even I just feel like he handles it so like collected. It's really funny. It is of that time period. Yeah, absolutely. And then so oh yeah, so Sam and Michael finally like work it out and everything's better. And then you see Michael then goes and finds Star, right? And then um he's like, so he's having all these symptoms, he's figuring out, so he goes and finds Star at that little hideout that they take him to. And she's like, I can't tell you, but, and then they just start like hooking up. And it was very sexy. And then like while that's happening at some point, the kids go to visit. Oh, and I forgot to add this in too. Like throughout this whole time at the boardwalk, the mom, like she found that store guy. He starts to try to pursue her. And so there's lots of weird things happening between him and her. And I think Sam kind of picks up that he's like, I think he might be a vampire. And then like eventually, yeah. Oh my God. When they invite him over for dinner, it's like the funniest thing. And so, but there's a part where they stop by his house first, right? And then his dog, like, almost attacks, wait, what was her name again? Lucy? Yeah. Yeah, which I was like, oh my God, oh my God. And I was like, man, it's really getting close to her. And then it did kind of bite her dress or whatever. And so Sam's like, oh my God, these are like the hounds of hell. This is all signs that he's the vampire king. So like Sam's figuring out, because Sam never met all the Lost Boys. He only meets, or he only knows everything through Michael. Michael's like, I don't know who changed me, but I was with all these guys. So no one's even like Sam's the only one that's considering Max being a vampire this time. So they invite him over for dinner. And while they have him over for dinner, it's just like shenanigans the whole dinner. Like they're like, you want some you want some cheese, and it's actually like raw garlic that they put on his pasta. And then they turn off the light. Oh, and he invites like the Frog Brothers, so like they're also like ridiculous. Like they're next. Nothing's working. They're very obvious. And then there's a part where they turn off the lights and they put a mirror up to Max's face and turn the lights on. And he's like, that like part made me laugh so hard. And then he's like, I just want to be your friend. And then he leaves. And so, everything's kind of, they're like, okay, I guess it's not him. Yeah. And the mom's pissed. And so, okay. So then, at some point, okay, this is the part where I was like, I'll remember all these scenes of events and just take less notes, because I was like just enjoying it, and then I was like, I should have taken more notes. Okay, so Sam and his friends, so they go to try to find, they finally like all can get on the same page, right, with like Michael, and they're like decide to go and kill all the guys that the Lost Boys. And Sam and his friends like try to get stuff. So they like, you see them gathering things like holy water from a church, bunch of garlic and stuff, and they make all these traps. And then they tie Nanook, or they all try to like wait. Okay, so yeah, so then they go to the cave to try to kill them, or the head, and they can't figure out who the head is. So they're like, we guess we should kill them all. And they try to kill one, and he dies, but like everybody else is like waking up, and it's bad because they're all connected. And yeah, I know. He was like, it was so intense. And then like wakes up, he's trying to get him, and then they get back to the house, and they're like running inside the house. And they see that Nanook is tied to the fence. So they're like, no. And then we're getting all stressed out again about the dog because he's so cute. But then they do get him in. And then, but the vampires get into the house. So then there's all these shenanigans of them like chasing around the house and stuff. And yeah, it's like so funny. Like the one guy is like, ugh, you have a bath of garlic, but it's like holy water. So it totally like melts him. And then Nanook's okay. And you're like, happy. Yeah, it was really fun. I thought they did a great job of just like showing all that fun stuff. And so they end up getting through like almost all the main vampires all the Lost Boys or whatever. And then they find out, they're like, wait, I don't feel different. Nothing's changed. And then like, they realize eventually like Max is the head vampire. Like they were right. And I was like, how did he eat garlic? So I guess garlic doesn't work on these vamps though. Oh, okay. So that's another rule that my little ADHD brain missed. But that makes so much sense. It is funny. Yeah, he's like, it's just too much. Yeah, and that is confusing. So I was like, oh, I didn't think it was him either, but I guess they did figure out a way to invite him in. Or he figured out a way to get himself invited in. And then, so then the mom sees it and he's like, I'm still going to take your mom. And she's like, she totally is like, should I go with him? Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's her vibe in that part. And I was kind of like, that's a really funny choice that they threw in there. But I think that was for comedy, right? Yeah, that's true. Oh yeah, maybe he is like, what do they call that? Glamoring. They call it glamoring in True Blood, I think. I don't remember.
It's like hypnosis.
Some kind of thing. Yeah, totally. And so that's like
Glamour.
getting really bad. Everyone's fighting. They saved a lot of the like actual flying of vampires towards this end part where like the guys are getting killed off and then Max. And then at the very end, their grandpa drives through the house in his truck and kills Max by like something like goes through Max's, it impales his like chest and he gets burned in a fire, right? And then like it's like the most dramatic killing of a vampire. Yeah, it is. And then like they have a funny little heart to heart at the end, and it's a funny like feel good vampire film. And then it's like the grandpa's like, oh, I just hate the vampires here, and like that's supposed to be the punchline, which I thought was funny because I'm like, yeah, and they're just, yeah, you could have given them like a little bit of a notice, but it was a good time. So so this was like a movie that you said she was like your mom, you grew up watching this movie. That's amazing. Where did you also like have it on VHS?
No, I think we rented it at some point,
Oh,
when I was
nice.
younger.
Yeah,
It was like one of those weekend rents.
nice. I can't believe I never saw it. It's really a good time. What do you think you would have done if you were turned into, like, if you were Michael in this situation? Yeah, especially same with the mom. Like, she's like, I can live forever. Like, I feel like that was like kind of the vibe for me, but now I'm thinking, yeah, it is.
Yeah, vampire. The Dexter of vampires. Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Buffy, yeah, kind of stuff. But would you lose your soul? Isn't that like the thing in Buffy? With like, I mean, I know a lot of my vampire lore from Buffy. Big fan.
I mean, Buffy was a very.
But yeah, you like lose your soul when you become a vampire. Vampire. But that's not the. Yeah. You didn't like lose your soul in this one, or would you just become more callous as you got older? You think?
Yeah, I don't think. Yeah, I think they kind of keep.
Well,
it
they weren't
light.
nice.
The fact that like
These
all
vampires.
the other vamps like become human again is interesting. I thought.
I've heard that. I mean, different lore, vampire
Change
lore.
me back. I thought they were like kind of fun. Like I read that they wanted it to be like a Peter Pan's a vampire vibe, and I was like, I still feel like I'm getting that through like the night where they're like, don't be afraid, you're one of us. And I was like, okay, that's like cute and fun. But then they make it kind of It is very like that peer pressure, bad kids vibe at the end too, because like Star and him are like, oh, I feel like I still feel it. I feel bad. And then they finally like get it back and they're like, oh my God, like I'm normal again. And it's interesting. It's interesting that that they don't like it. You know, you usually see a horror film where they're like, I'm better than human now. You know, it's like you get this ego with the vampire switch. Yeah, it's so true too. Like, I wonder how long all of them had been around until.
So that wouldn't bother you? You're like, I still want to be a vampire. Okay. No, okay.
Yeah, would you be a vampire?
No, because I wouldn't want to hurt other people.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like I'm the same.
And
I wish I could be a
hell.
werewolf, you know, if I had to be.
Would you rather be a werewolf?
Yeah, I feel like a werewolf would be cool.
You like lose control though for that night.
That's true.
Yeah, so is that better? Ignorance is
A werewolf
bliss?
is like kind of like a.
But also, you don't live forever. You don't get the strength and all the cool stuff when you're not a vamp.
You die in
when
dog
you're not
years. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, that'd be funny.
I'm cracking myself.
Yeah.
I know, they go flying.
It's a cool vibe.
I think I'd pull a Star.
Yeah, sorry, I'm being
I'd pull
I'm not
Star.
being fun
Like, I'd be
about
like,
it.
oh, I don't like this anymore.
It would be ultimately vampire would be the coolest of the monsters to be, I think.
I think a werewolf's still cool, except it is kind of like this like weird alcoholic uncle vibe, isn't it? Like, oh man, I don't remember what I did. Totally. Yes, that's true. Yeah, I'd probably be like Star. I'd be like, wait, no, there's a kid here. You know? Well, like, remember how like there's like the little kid that's on the milk box that's a vampire, and like it's weird when they all invite him back to the lair. The little boy is just like, hey, and then you're like, what's that kid in there? And then like she's like, you see this milk box later that's like missing kid, and you're like, oh, that's that kid. And then you find out he's not fully a vampire yet. So like that's kind of cool. Or he's a half vampire. Yeah. Yeah, I know you don't know like at all what's happening. Did you guys watch Interview with the Vampire?
Yeah.
Yeah, me too. When yes,
Yes.
when Kirsten Dunst is like the tween vampire, and she realizes she's gonna be like a tween forever. She's just like,
Yeah, that'd be a hard existence.
that would be. You're just in puberty for the rest of your life. Like, no. Yeah. This is tough. I know. She thought, like, yeah. And I feel like you would make that decision at that age. Like, I can get it forever. And then you're like,
When
wait,
you're
I'm still.
A tween?
Yeah, I feel like that, like 12 to 13 range is like totally bad decision time.
Yeah.
I had a lot of bad haircuts in that
Bad
transition.
haircuts.
Yeah, totally. And then you're like, oh, now I'm a kid forever. That's like the fucked up part of it. That would be so shitty, especially that little kid. The kid in like
Well,
The
what
Lost
age,
Boys is like probably like 8 years old.
What age should you be able to choose, Katie? To you, 18?
I feel like it would be really fun to be like 25 to 30 for the rest of your life.
I was gonna say, I was like, what
I feel
age
like
would you do now?
27.
Would you choose the age you are now to stay as a vampire? Or if you could have done it younger, would you have done it younger?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. That's why I was like 27's good. 27.
27. Sure.
Yeah, exactly.
But that'd be gone when you're a vampire, though, right? You wouldn't still feel creaks.
You never know. What
Yeah,
if it's like death becomes her
your
and
knee
like
never got fixed, and then you always have a knee. Yeah.
that'd be cool if like it fixed everything. Like people could like grow their amputated parts back
No.
or anything like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, what if
You took it to a place, Katie. We're both like, your knees wouldn't creak anymore. You're like, maybe your arm would grow back.
That'd be cool. That'd be really cool though. Like if like that kind of.
No, yeah, sure.
I mean, you can create new versions of things. Look at The Last of Us, right? It's technically zombies, but they're mushroom people. And it makes
Their
me
arms grew back.
They grew some other things. That's true. We have sparkly ones. I really like. Did you ever watch Hemlock Grove? Okay, the only thing is I really do like the werewolf. We're back on werewolves again. But the werewolf the werewolf, I'm like cracking myself up with this werewolf shit. I didn't think I would be so gung-ho about him, but I do. Oh, that's on my list. I haven't seen that yet, but yes, amazing. I will. It's about like a bunch of girl vampires, right? Or werewolves. Yes.
Ooh, horror fantasy. That sounds fantasy.
It's exciting. Okay. I will. Someone else told me to watch that recently. It's on my list. Wait, but yeah, the werewolf transformation, he basically like sheds all of his flesh, and then the werewolf like eats it like a mother eats the placenta, you know? And then like you have to be able to change back before the full moon, or else he'll stay one forever. And so, but he's just like a regular crazy big wolf, you know? And so it's really cool. And there's like a part where like he's trying to be like sexual to this lady, and she's like, let me see how it is. And he's like showing her all the creepy shit he can do, and like the body horror in it is really fun. Like there's a part where like the wolf is like, and then this hand comes out of the mouth, and it's like, whoa, and it goes back in. It's really interesting. It's another one I haven't seen. Yeah. Okay, that's probably where they got it from then. Because that came out in like...
What was the movie called?
Yeah, and I think Hemlock Grove came out like a few years later than that. Or... It's another one I see. I think Brandy did a tattoo of that, and I was like, I need to see that one. Here we go. I'll have to check that one out too.
Anna Paquin's in it. Suki.
She's great. I'm like, we need more Sookie back. You know,
It's Stackhouse is her last name.
Sookie Stackhouse.
It's a bad joke. Sorry.
Did you watch that? Did you watch?
Yeah, I watched up to like season 5 or 6.
I'm always amazed at like, I feel like you can handle horror when it's like an episode.
Yeah, I guess. It was more about being sexy than the scariness that I liked. I was like, I want to be the werewolf in that one.
Yeah.
In that one, I wanted to be a werewolf.
Okay, come on. The werewolf in that one is really...
I'm a Team Bill.
Also
I think
fun.
Bill was really in love with her, not Team Eric. Do you have a preference?
Did you watch True Blood?
Okay.
No, that's okay. It's truly just like, it's like fantasy.
It's a soap opera.
It's like fantasy. Anything you can change into. Like there's even like
fairies.
fairies. There's
like
also like
jaguar werewolves.
Yeah, like there are like these Florida people that are like jaguars, which is like so.
Okay.
Like
yeah.
Tiger King would have probably been like, he probably would have turned into like a leopard or something, like just like a weird cat that somebody it definitely shouldn't be in the United States, but it's here somehow.
I do think there's like some psychology stuff behind, like you'd rather be a werewolf.
Yeah,
It's very violent. It happens once a month, kind of a thing. You don't remember it versus someone who wants to be a vampire. It's like you're always it.
Yeah.
Yeah, the werewolf.
See, I like that the
werewolf
werewolf
thing. I feel like you don't get any benefits out of it because when you're a vampire, you're always strong. You have this immortality. Werewolf is just like you go crazy once a month, and but then you still have all the human weaknesses outside of it. Yeah,
it's like having a period or something.
Yeah, sorry, I didn't want to get into that.
No, but I was like, it kind of feels it's like once a month.
Yeah.
Or it's like alcoholism is kind of how it feels, right? Like you don't remember it, you black out. Yeah. Okay. Yes, I will.
Sorry, I didn't mean to derail it.
No, I love this. This is a great place to go. Do you believe in aliens or ghosts? Me too. Okay, cool. We've asked that one to everyone. That's amazing. I love this. Okay. Lucy, who we had on this past couple of weeks ago, she's a flight attendant, and she says that she thinks she saw something. I think I already talked about this before too, or I haven't. But she thinks she saw like a little thing, and then she talked to the pilots, and they were like, I don't like to get into it because he's like, I don't want people to think I'm crazy, but I'm like, oh my God, I would be like, you show me, I'd be like so into it. Like, I want to believe, I like believe in it so true. There's gotta be life out there.
So you research it when you're not, oh wow.
I actually look into it sometimes too. I'm like,
does it
TikTok.
freak you out? You get stressed out about it? Like I have to, it seems like it keep you high anxiety like all the time.
Really? I feel like
yeah.
I get excited.
Yeah, that ignorance. Yes, I feel like ignorance is more bliss in that situation.
Totally.
Interesting. Yeah. Kind of an undeniable thing. Okay. Sure, yeah. Which is another frustration factor. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I did see that too, actually. That was like during 2020 too, that they were like, there's paranormal activity, and it was like going across social media.
It's different than aliens, right? Paranormal activity.
Or no, wait, sorry.
Oh, interesting. Oh.
Oh yeah, I need to finish that.
Skinwalker Ranch. sounds
no, wait,
scary.
it's actually really interesting.
It's like Annihilation sounding.
Oh.
Like they're just sending people in and they're not coming out the same.
Yeah, they're just somehow a little different.
Yeah, I would not want to. I would just, oh my God.
Oh my God, really? I kind of want to go. That sounds really fun. I went to the Brown Palace for the first time.
Fun?
Oh. I mean, just to learn.
You will not be the same when you come out. Sounds like fun.
Okay, well, to go to Skinwalker Ranch, not the Shimmer from Annihilation.
I mean, it sounds like it's the same thing.
I don't know if I would go in there. If I was in a situation that any of the women in Annihilation are in, I probably would go in.
I'd probably kill myself.
One of them has like terminal cancer. The other one's daughter died of cancer. The other one's husband was in there.
So they have nothing to live for, is what you're saying?
Yeah. I mean, that's why I feel like that's why it's such an appealing movie, is because you're like, damn, they got nothing to lose. Like.
Sorry, have you seen Annihilation? Okay.
Oh my God, you love it.
I was like, I didn't know if you were in
Please
the loop
watch
there.
it. Okay.
Yeah,
I don't want to say anything else.
Keep it on Lost Boys. My bad.
Keep it on Lost. No, but it's fun to jump. I mean,
you ever ridden a motorcycle? They make it seem cool, yeah.
See, I haven't done one either.
That sounds like fun. Learning to ride a motorcycle.
Yeah.
That would be something I would consider
think I'd
fun.
need like training wheels on it.
Motorcycle ranch. Sure. Yeah.
What about those like four-wheeled motorcycles, where you have a little side thing to put your dog in? what are those called?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it's called. I love that. Yeah, I feel like I'd feel more safe driving that. It feels more like an ATV,
Oh, yeah.
doesn't it?
They have 3 like tricycles. I've seen guys riding like tricycle type motorcycles.
That sounds fun. Yeah. I mean, I guess I'd do it. I'm just so scared.
Well, we're starting a biker gang, I guess, is what we're getting at.
Yes.
Yeah, you already got half of the gear.
My friend Deb and I, like, we were talking about how we only want to hang out with nice people. Really,
The nice
yes.
people biker gang.
And yeah, like just easy going. Honestly, it's so true. I'm so sick of ego just getting in the way of creativity all the time. And my friend was like, angels only. And I was like, I need that as a tattoo. And she said it with Brad, my partner, around, and Brad just is like, angels only. And then anyway, we all had a good laugh about it, and we were like, yeah, angels only. And so I was telling Brad that I was like, do you want to get, he hasn't had any tattoos, but I was like, do you want to get angels only as your first tattoo? And he said no before he finished talking. He was like, no. And I was like, come on, angels only.
Yeah, he get like a baseball tattoo. But anyway, that could be our patch. Angels
he was
only.
going to
That
get
could be the patch on the
Petizza
back of our-
tattooed on him.
Ooh, yeah, I'd like that.
Yeah, like a little Pueblo bread nut roll. It'd be funny to get a nut roll tattooed on you. That's what Petizza is. It's like those. I love it. Anything with nuts in it, I'm here for it. I'm a big fan of like these nuts. Okay.
Yeah, that's where my mind went.
But I do love like almond butters and sunflower. I really have been like into sunflower butter instead of like almond butter or peanut butter right now because it's like saltier. Have you guys had it?
I have not.
Okay. Well, that's on your list. Yes, but I do love peanut butter too. It's so good.
Creamy, chunky.
I like chunky. I'm a freak.
Either way.
I like chunky too.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It did look
I loved Peter Pan.
most whimsical of
It's
the.
so fun.
Right?
Yeah, it is.
She's bringing it back around. She's a pro.
So she is a pro. I love it. I love it. Okay, so we've asked all those questions. Do you and Brandy ever try to scare each other? Oh man. Oh, this is like.
I think that's what makes a good couple. No.
JD and I don't know how. I think I scared Brad one time. And I scared him really good. And I was telling, and then JD was like, if that happened, like Mallory and I would have to have like a therapy conversation. Like, and so now he started asking everyone, and it's been like 50-50.
It's been up and down, yeah.
Yeah. And like, I feel like a little, like, but Brad will try to like psychologically scare me. And I've talked about that before, but like he'll be.
No, her boyfriend does. I don't.
He'll like tell me he's texting someone I don't like or like whatever, and like a weird. Yeah, and so I was like, I'm just gonna boo him, and so I scared him really good. I like jumped out of a closet naked, and he was like
terrified,
very upset for a minute, and then was laughing, and I was like, okay, but I don't do it all the time, Like I was thinking about that movie Creep. Yeah, like when it's like so funny how he's like, bah! Like the whole, like it's comedic almost that he does it so much. And I don't know if I'd want that. And then we had Sumak on, and he was telling us that like he's very quiet, so he would like be behind his partner, but she wouldn't hear him, so she'd turn around and be like, ah, and it would make him mad. Because he's like, it's just so frustrating having someone freak out at you every like 5 minutes. And I was like, oh my God, I do the same thing to Brad. Like he'll like walk through a door when I have my headphones in, and I'm like, ah,
I'll do that sometimes.
Not expecting that.
Like just be surprised by the person.
Yes.
Would that be a problem in your relationship? You scaring or if they start trying to scare you a lot, you'd welcome it? You'd be okay with being scared all the time? Like, right. All right, well, okay. You're like, try it.
That's funny. Yeah, I still get scared though with the headphones
Yeah, I
in. I
wouldn't
get
like
like
it.
so into what I'm doing. I'll be like, oh my God. And what Samantha was saying, I was like, oh my God, I've done that to Brad. Like, I'll be like, God, and he's like, and I'm like, I'm sorry, I just didn't see you there. Okay, wait, what else? So, okay, hold on. There's another question that we usually ask people, and I'm just blanking on it. I'm sorry, guys. I took my anxiety medicine today because I had to
Was
do
it about
something
like
hard.
the type of horror
Oh
movie watcher you are?
yeah. So
Because I think that we were kind of discussing that before we
yes.
started recording.
Oh, and we haven't done fears yet. Okay, so so I was listening to. Do you like true crime? Okay, have you heard Killer Psyche yet with Candace DeLong? Okay, it's awesome. She's like a profiler, and she's like a psychiatric nurse that became like FBI profiler, and so she looks at all this like information about each killer and like does like a 45-minute to an hour long podcast about like what she. Yeah, it's so good, and she's such a little Chicago mommy. It's very funny. She'll just say such mom stuff that I'm like, oh my God. Like she was like, and some people call him Dr. Death, but I think he was Dr. Evil. And you're like, what? Has she seen Austin Powers? What's happening? But so she found some info about horror film movies, and she said that, you know what's crazy is I think I check off on everything about highly sensitive people except for horror films. They say that highly sensitive people a lot of the time are like really triggered by horror films, but then on one of the other podcasts we talked about like going to like see horror things as a child, and I was like, oh yeah, I think I got like numbed a little because I was the youngest, and like my parents took me to like Universal Studios and I got like scared the fuck, like I was so scared. And so I was like, maybe that's where it all started. But anyway, she talks about how a lot of people watch horror films because they tap into like premarital archetypes that are buried deep down into our subconscious, and sometimes they can be give a person a state of catharsis with like purging negative feelings and stuff. And I was like, this is exactly what it is. And so then she talked about how another Dr. Deirdre Johnson, like categorized types of watchers that there are. And she was like, there's the gore watchers, there's thrill watchers, and then there's independent watchers and problem watchers. And she was saying how like gore people tend to have like low empathy, high sensation seeking a lot of the time. If they're like AMAB, they tend to identify with the killer, which I thought was kind of interesting. And then she said that thrill watchers have high empathy, sensation seeking, but also identify with the victim, and they like the feeling of suspense. Independent watchers have high empathy for the victim and positive effect for like overcoming a huge fear. So I would say like something like the Babadook probably with that one, or maybe, would you call Gravity a thriller or a horror? I think it's a thriller, right?
Yeah, thriller.
Yeah, but like something I guess like that would be probably that too. Yeah, and I think,
Sure.
dude, that shit scares me like more than like a lot of horror. And I'm like, anything with like space or nature documentaries scares the shit out of me. Problem watchers is usually someone who has high empathy for victims characterized by negative affect, seeing a sense of helplessness. And so I think I'm kind of somewhere in between 3 and 4. The independent watcher and the problem watcher. Like I love The Thing because I love the anxiety that film creates, and I know that I don't know what I still can't figure out what I would do if I was anyone in that film. But Annihilation also gives you that same helplessness feeling, and that really scares me. But so what kind of watcher do you think you are? What kind of stuff actually scares you in films, and what scares you like in real life? I feel the same way with that. Same. Totally. Yeah. Yes. I know. Oh my God. I always get scared when I go into my kitchen and like the window has some stuff you can see outside, but you can't really see all of it. I'm always like, yeah. Would you say like Italian jello? Like, is that something like Suspiria? Maybe Suspiria is so good. I love it. Yes, totally. Same. I love how artistic it is and the colors, like you were talking about colors earlier. Suspiria has such amazing colors. It's so beautifully done. And the music, I was literally just posting on Facebook the other day about this. Like the one from the original film, the scoring, that music is so amazing. Like I still walk up to my dog and I'm like, witch, witch. And like, it's like what this, like this fun little thing I do with him. But yes, it's, oh, I didn't realize that was the band. I thought it was because I was looking at the albums on Spotify and I was trying to find info about those two, but I was like, because I also really loved, yeah, totally. I don't, did you see the new one at all? Okay, no, and I get it. I was scared too, but here's the thing. Tom York scored it and he did a really great job. And I'm amazed that they had got him to score it. Like I was like, man, he's like, I love Tom York and like, but he did such a good job and you just have to go into it. I'd say seeing it as a completely different film, which I think is better because you can't redo that beautiful. It's like such a vintage feel to it. You could totally handle Suspiria. It's like so artsy and fun.
Yeah.
Honestly, I've put it on so many times that I'm like, oh, this is a great movie to fall asleep to. You know, like it's like mesmerizing. Yeah.
A lot of gore.
It's like very, it is pretty bloody, but it's like, it looks like, yeah. Yeah. It's
No,
like,
it's cool. Yeah.
it's campy, like I was saying. Yes. Totally. So that's in film kind of where I would agree with that too. I love those kinds of films.
It's like I just want to watch Lord of the Rings again. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how you... Yes, obviously. It's the only ones I have.
Oh man, I need to like
She's like, I
I need to
can't.
get into it. I need to get into it because like you know I didn't. My parents just weren't. They didn't make us watch a lot of like fantasy. My dad definitely loved The Hobbit and
Did
was
they
like,
make you watch other stuff?
the movie. Like my parents would like a lot of time make me watch like adult movies. Like I saw Sideways with my dad when I was like when that came out.
What a weird dad watch.
And I mean, we were laughing pretty hard when he like jumps out of, spoiler alert, if you haven't seen Sideways, but when he like goes back to get the wallet, that's like one of the funniest scenes I've ever seen in my life. Like what an awful thing to make your friend do. Have you seen Sideways? Oh,
Okay.
yeah. Okay. Spoiler.
Sorry, that's been
Are you okay
happening a
if I
lot
give
on
you a
this
spoiler?
podcast.
Oh, there's a part like this guy basically is like on his bachelor trip and he brings like Paul Giacometti with him and he's just like, he hates the whole thing. He's going through his own anxiety. He's a troubled guy. And like, anyway, and this guy just keeps like, he's just like a piss and fuck, like kind of guy, like just like making a mess everywhere they go. And he goes and he fucks this waiter one night. And then the next day he's like, I left my wallet there. I need you to go back. Like he came home and I just ran out of my wallet. So Paul literally goes and gets the wallet and it's like on their nightstand. He literally walks into these people's house and they're having makeup sex. And like the guy's like, you're a bad bitch, and like liking her, and like it's just amazing. And I love that you just see these two like human bodies, you know, like it's like not fucking Hollywood.
How old were you?
God, when did Sideways? Can you look up when Sideways came out? But so he goes and he just like sees them, and so he's just like, there's no way that I'm not gonna go in this room without, you know. So he just goes in, grabs the wallet, and then like starts to
2004.
run out. I was 14. So that's not too
You
bad.
were desensitized to a lot of things.
Yeah, I know. I was the youngest too, so I think I feel like by the time I was around, my family was like, okay, can we just
Did your parents force you to watch anything when you were a kid?
They didn't force me. Like, I just happened to be. I don't
Katie,
think
you're gonna sit here.
I think
watch this.
I don't think like a lot of the time my parents would like take us to movies and not know what they were getting into. I loved Jaws. My dad did get me to Jaws.
Okay.
I got so scared from
Lucasfilm.
Jaws. So scared. We didn't even leave near a beach. Like, yeah, I watch more of my horror films with friends than anything. But the classics, like my dad put on Jaws. Also, like the comedy, Spooky Realm, but it's not, like Beetlejuice, all that stuff. I loved that. I know, I can't believe it, but I know I am excited though for that one too, because I'm like, okay, the cat. Like, I love that Michael Keaton's in it again. Yeah, it's like amazing. Yeah, totally. So yeah, he goes out and gets that. Oh yeah, he gets the wallet and he runs out to his car, and the guy like pulls out of his wife and like starts chasing him. And he gets in the car and closes the door, and then you just see the guy in the camera shot. The camera shot's perfect. It's like through the window, you see this naked man running out, and then him starting his car and everything, and like there's just like this flaccid penis like banging across the window while he's like just trying to get away. And I was like, you're in that anxiety with him, it's so funny. Anyway, back to your fears. So okay, so films.
Kind of watcher you were, yeah.
Yeah, like what you like to watch. Yeah, totally. Same. I was also, I've talked about this before in the pod, like dramas have really scared the shit out of me before. My Girl scared me. I like had nightmares about and I was like, it's crazy that a drama can affect you that way. But I was like, I was so afraid of being in that situation. Like having a friend who's allergic to bees get stung and then almost and then die. Like, yeah. Yeah. Like dramas really are just, what else scared me? Practical Magic. I remember when the husband dies, that really scared me because it's just so heartbreaking too. She's like trying to find the beetle. It's like the white lady, like witch, like kind of like what women are trying to be witches today now. I want to write a joke about how like a lot of women are like those like sexy witch vibe. And I'm like, I want to be like the witch that's like in the witch. Like just like this funny haggy lady that's like, yeah, like just crazy witch. Yes. I was like, I want to be like, I look forward to that, like getting old lady looks and getting casted to be like a Tilda Swinton, or not Tilda Swinton. She could be scary though, but I'm trying to think of a horror film that she's actually been scary in. I mean, I thought she was scary in Oakjaw, even though it's not a horror film, but she's just like, and Snowpiercer, she has like fake teeth and it's just like really off-putting. But okay, Zelda Rubinstein, I like was such a fan of her growing up. And I was like, I want to have those bodysuits when I'm older, just like fun, big gaudy jewelry and like a big silk bodysuit and stuff. I love Zelda Rubinstein. So like, if you're okay with answering this question, we ask everyone like, what scares you in like real life? Yeah, totally. Totally. No, I mean, dude, a rabid dog is like very scary. My dog can be bad. He's bit people before. It's usually when people are like surprising him, like they're like, don't ask, like they're like can I pet your dog? And they're already like, like, and it's like, okay, wait, like, or, like one time this little kid like jumped on my dog and it's like, okay, like, of course he's going to bite you, but also some dogs would never bite someone if that happened. So my dog sucks. But, it's crazy because Denver's such like an dog off leash place. And I'm just trying to make sure this dog doesn't get put down. I fucking love my dog. I know he's a piece of shit sometimes, but he's just troubled. And there's something about me that like I walk into a shelter and I'm like, give me that sad one in the corner. And then you realize they have all these behavioral issues. No, absolutely. No, but exactly. Well, and like,
yeah.
And but so when I'll be walking my dog, like somebody will like have their dog off leash, and it's like, oh God, like that fear when they're like running towards me and my dog who I know is already reactive, and I'm like, is this dog reactive? Like what's gonna happen? And that just is something that still scares me now. Like just the dogs fighting. I'm like, I don't want any of it. Wow. Yes. That makes more sense to me too, like it looking more like another, like the gray alien. I'm like, it's like a humanoid kind of thing, like it's too human like, but like same. But I think, yes, I think a praying mantis would be terrifying, especially on like a larger scale. Um, Ooh, that's scary. It's kind of like a combination of both. We're looking at Google images of aliens and stuff like that too. Wow. That's really interesting. I need to look at more. You got to send me some of this stuff. I like love watching it. Sometimes TikTok will send me like, we found a real alien and it's like the most fake thing in the world. And I'm like, why is this on here? But I get like, yeah, but like the stories that I read of people talking about stuff, I'm like, that makes sense. And then you saying that like paranormal, I did mess up my words earlier, but it makes so much sense that it's all connected, like with aliens and like the paranormal activity and stuff. Yeah, no, that's so interesting. Um, totally. And so those are valid fears. They're valid fears. I feel like it's okay to be afraid of like any animal, Animals are kind of scary. Dude, I've been there. Scary. 100%. Dude, did you see Grizzly Man? Yeah, that's okay. That came on when I was at like a 24-hour fitness and I had to stay on. I was like, I can't leave. I gotta finish this. And what is that?
I was thinking of this image of a shaved bear.
Wow.
It's a bear that they had to shave for some reason, and it looks crazy.
Yeah. Wow. Bears are scary. I heard also like when they fight, they just like piss and shit because they're just like, and I'm just like, "Ugh," but they seem terrifying for sure. And they're so cute, but they're so terrifying. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, totally. It's so. crazy how nature can be that scary. Even just like seeing snakes out. One time I almost stepped on a snake when I was hiking. I was like walking by this like creek with my parents, and then I like saw it, and it was like literally laid out flat in front of me, and I jumped over it, and I was like, ah, and then my dad jumped over it, and like we were all just walking really fast, and I was like, oh my god, it's so easy to step on a snake. And oh my god, my fear is like getting bit by a snake on a trail and like not like being able to get the poison out or something like that. Yeah, have you seen that guy who's truly, have you seen that guy who like injects venom into his body? It's he's like, I've been injecting venom for 6 years, and he's like, I've got a higher tolerance, but it's like crazy. I'm just like, the things people do. He's like, I'm just gonna be immune, so I'm gonna like build up a tolerance to snake venom. Yeah, it's true. I mean, maybe he'll come up with an antidote someday, and it'll be. JD's just like raising the eyebrows.
I'm just like, well, what is he doing that he feels the need to, like, is he around this many poisonous snakes that he's like, it's gonna be,
collects them.
Yeah. It's like, what kind of life is this guy leading? Well, to be honest, there's probably a couple walking freely in here.
Oh my
gosh. Just, spiders in the walls.
Brad tried to get a spider. I was like, will you take it outside? And he's like, I'm going to kill it. And then I was like, and he was like, trying to get it. And then he like lost it because he was trying to kill it. And I was like, if you
That's your
didn't
fault.
try to kill it, maybe you could have caught it and put it outside. Now it's in here and it's going to bite us.
Because it wants revenge.
I got bit by a spider really bad and I had to go to the doctor, and they gave me a bunch of shots in the ass. But like my skin was like deteriorating on my inner leg. I thought it was like an ingrown hair, but then like it was like getting like deeper, and like you could see like the fat in my flesh. And
yeah, that's what I was thinking. Yeah.
And I had like chills all my body ached. I've never had like a full body ache like that before. It was awful. Yeah, it was terrible. I have a very big
glad
respect
you're still alive
for spiders now. I feel like it's bad to kill them because there's like one watching you kill it, waiting to bite you later.
That made you respect them and not want to take revenge and murder all of them?
Yeah, I was
John
like,
Wick
I
style.
respect. Some of them can be kind of cute though. There's like these little fuzzy ones that like have little crowns. Yeah, they're like kind of cute. He's just not having it. Same thing with bees though. I've seen some cute bees, like little fuzzy bee. Even like the moths, like they frustrate me. I just vacuum all up and then I let them go. Yeah, the moths. Yeah. I wish I had a cat right now for them, just because. But then also I feel bad, I vacuum them all up. I'm like, I can't kill this many moths at once. So I just let them all go. And like the other day, I was like driving and I felt something crawling on my neck, and I looked in my rearview mirror and there was a moth like right here. And I like was like, ah, and I grabbed it and threw it out the window. And then another time in the shower, one landed on my finger and I got to see its face. And I was like, you're kind of cute. You're not that bad. Like, I got to remember that face next time I want to like kill them all. Yeah. Yeah. It's just like, they're so dusty and gross. And they're just so like clapping around in the kitchens and stuff. It's like, sometimes there's like 10 in there. It's just the worst. Okay. Well, let's look at some reviews of The Lost Boys and then we'll get out of here. Yes. Okay. I detour a lot on this because I have ADHD. So it's like, we'll go into like a deep section and then I'm like, okay, now let's get back to the film. This is a pretty good I feel like that's a pretty good score. The audience score is 85%. Tomato meter 76%. We can read. We'll go with the bad first and the good last. How about that? There's always room for fancy trash, and this movie about a gang of punk vampires terrorizing the new kids in town seems capable of providing some. Then the characters open their mouths. Wow. That is a harsh one. Okay. I'm just realizing now that I wrote shoemaker, like the word shoe, and or mocker, it's Schumacher, right? Okay. Anyway, Schumacher falls far short of the talent for pop with that Joe Dante showed in Gremlins and The Howling. Wait, is that? Yeah, I was like, I don't think that's fair, and I also feel like that doesn't like that was a hard thing to say. I had a hard time reading that one. Okay, that's so cool. Oh my god, Gremlins is so fun. We talked about that one. Oh, let's see a good one. This snappy, snazzy vampire flick looks better today than it did back in 1987 when it was overshadowed by superior mid-horror films like The Fly, Fright Night, Reanimator, and Day of the Dead. Those are all really good films. I didn't realize Reanimator is that old. Oh, it's the 80s, not I keep thinking this is in the 70s, but it's the 80s. The Lost Boys, in its artless way, asks us to consider that being forever young isn't as a sweet Edwardian evocation of innocence, but a vision of pure hell like vampirism. It is interesting. I don't know. I felt like it was like such a vibe that they were giving because they were having fun, but he didn't have fun. Yeah, it felt also kind of like, drugs, like drug movies. Yeah. Yeah, totally. Totally. Yeah. Well, Krista, it was so fun having you on the pod. Thank you so much for doing it. Yes, where can people find you? Hell yeah. Yeah, and go check out her movie. It's amazing. If you yes, absolutely. This was so fun. And if you want to check out any of my stuff, you can go to katiebowman.rocks or Katie Bowman Comic on all the handles and stuff like that. This is a Left Hand Right Brain production. You can stream it wherever you download your podcasts. And please like, share, and review. We need reviews and everything, and I would love you so much if you did it. All right, so stay spooky. We'll see you next time.
With Katie Bowman.
Help Me I'm Scared is a Left Hand, Right Brain production, produced by JD Lopez, with music by Ben Kronberg.